All right, so here's the situation. I filled that one up with Star Sand. It's mostly purged with CO2. I've got my doohickey here that I'm gonna stick inside this to transfer the beer from this into this. I've got that. There's a little bit of Star Sand left in there. I'm gonna run it off into this keg, which I'm actually gonna use to ferment that beer that's cooling down right now. So I'll run all the remaining, and then that'll also purge that line. When I purge out the Star Sand and CO2, that'll purge that line with CO2. Then I can immediately just disconnect everything, jam that in there, get that transferring over to that. Meanwhile, I've got my sugar solution here. Actually, what I'll do is I'll shoot the sugar solution in before I transfer that, and connect that over there. I'll shoot the sugar solution in to the floating dip tube using a liquid ball lock fitting. Using the syringe, which I've got sanitized over here with my, solution or whatever. And then basically once that's once this is primed and, with sugar, and then I transfer from here into that, then that's all primed and ready to go. And all I have to do is, take my beer gun here. So my beer gun also, which I've attached the CO2 to, right? So that's ready to go there. It would help if I turned the gas on. There we go. So anyway, I'll connect this line here. Once I've transferred that into here, then I'll connect this line there, and then that's basically like ready to be primed, or primed, ready to be bottle conditioned beer, because it's got sugar and the leftover yeast from fermentation. This is a Hefeweizen, so I'm not worried about it being too beat up. Otherwise I would use a bottle conditioning yeast or something like that. But then, I've got my bottles here. They're all sanitized. All I have to do is bring them over here. Stick the beer gun in them. I purge them with CO2, maybe like 30 seconds each. Fill her up, and then I'll purge the headspace. Basically, I'll have the bottle the bottle in my one hand, the beer gun in my other. I'll purge the headspace, and as I'm finished purging the headspace, then I stick it up into the bell and cap it. So, there's no chance that there's, not that there's no chance, but there's very little chance of oxygen making its way in. Because keep in mind, I'm not capping on foam. This is still beer right now. This is literally just finished beer. There's no CO2 in it. So there's not going to be a head or a foam for me to cap on. I'm always doing this with still beer, or mostly doing this with still beer. But that is basically the entire process. It's just moving beer around with CO2 and lines. I've got like liquid to liquid jumper cables. I've got, the two CO2 lines. It's very uncomplicated once you boil it all down. These kegs are cheap. The lines are all cheap. The main expenses, like when you're first setting out to build one of these setups, is, you got to buy the CO2 tank from Bobby. You got to buy the regulator. Just buy everything that he tells you to buy. Just buy everything that he tells you to buy. These weldless ball lock fittings actually aren't super cheap. And then the beer gun's a solid, you can probably find a used one for $200, but it's still an investment. But, the thing is all stainless. You can take it apart. It's an investment that'll last for, I've had mine for 5 years now, and I haven't even had to replace any of the rubber parts on it. They're still all in very good shape. I just keep everything lubricated with keg lubricant, and that's it. So that's basically the overview of the process.